Would you spend $18,000 to go to an adult boot camp? Some guys are. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, or welcome to Uncle ABL, and in today's video, we're talking about the adult male boot camp that costs $18,000 to attend. Now, if I was much younger, I would have immediately clowned this, written it off. These guys are goobers. Why would you spend that much money to go to an adult boot camp? Y'all are grown men. Y'all just LARPing, playing around. And some of that is still within me. But as I've gotten older and I've seen a lot of things out in this world, I'm not really mad at this. And you know what? Some guys are going to say, you know what, they should go to therapy. I don't really think therapy works for the majority of men. I don't think it works. And to be totally honest, and nothing against anybody with PTSD or a brain injury or something like that, I don't want to include you guys in this. So please understand what I'm saying. But therapy as a trade was to treat women who had problems. It was for women. It was not for men at all. Then as time progressed, more and more men began to seek therapy, but it's still overwhelmingly a thing that women do. I think like 70% of therapy patients are women. Now, if my numbers are wrong, y'all please correct me. But what I'm right about is that it was started first for women, then men kind of caught on. I don't really think therapy works for the majority of us. What I think works is going through life adversity. You have a challenge, you defeat the challenge, and you learn from the challenge. You're faced with adversity and succeed, and that builds your character. That could be anything from getting bullied in high school, from getting in a bad car accident, anything, going broke, going through a divorce. Adversity is, in my humble opinion, what men thrive on to go to the next level. Some guys never had that, and I think these boot camps are meant to substitute that. Now, before I go any further, let's get to the actual clip. Of course, I will link to the entire thing in the box. This is on NBC News. And without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
You're way too goddamn big to not be throwing this little piece around.
Through a high-intensity boot camp offered once or twice a year.
You, right?
Yes.
Are you last?
That includes hand-to-hand combat, water hosing, and crawling across railroad tracks. The Modern Day Night Project makes a promise to men who shell out the $18,000 to attend the 3-day program. You'll become...
Now, that's a lot of money for 3 days. 18 bands for 3 days. I want to know all of what it encapsulates. And from what you guys seeing so far, what do you think? You thinking it's like an LGBT retreat? You thinking something that guys actually need? Would you go to a thing like this? Have you done a thing like this? Did it work for you? Did it not work for you? Let me know some feedback in the comments, but I digress.
Become better friends, better fathers, better leaders.
They're stuck in a rut. They've lost that fire. They've lost the edge as a man. Suffering leads to those superpowers.
Instructor Steve Eckerts.
I agree with suffering leads to superpowers. I agree with that. Now, this boot camp, will it do that for you? I don't know.
Says the suffering is just one snapshot of a program that strives for a deeper purpose.
It starts off very loud, chaotic, and violent. They're forced to fight each other. After that, they're hugging each other. They're crying.
The common thread for many attendees, he says, is a past colored by abuse and the search for some direction.
Keep going.
Since its 2019 start, the project has held 20 sessions and racked up millions of views online.
I mean, look, there's millions of views and guys are paying the money. So I think at a certain point, this works for some men. It might kind of look weird to some people. Some guys might not want to do it, but I'm not totally against this.
And plenty of questions about its purpose.
Now, I'm reading some of these comments right here that pop up on the screen. It says, imagine being so soft, you gave these clowns $18,000 to yell at you while you work out for 3 days and expect your life to magically change over a long weekend. May God shape the, I guess, F up, guys. This is pathetic. Why smash a metal chair with a sledgehammer? What purpose does that serve? The cringe is real. Paying someone to abuse you physically and mentally is the most subordinate trait one can possess. You get the idea.
In June of 2020, a participant died during a session, and his family sued for wrongful death, alleging a failure to provide necessary medical care, though the parties settled a few years later. In a follow-up interview, Eckert told NBC News he did not want to discuss the matter due to privacy and respect of an extremely unfortunate tragedy, but added there was no liability.
I mean, the thing about it is you got high school boys that die in football practice. I mean, when you're pushing your body to its limit, sometimes you can go way over the top, and you never know. There could be some kind of underlying medical issue. You never know what's going on or why somebody may die in a situation like that. It's really unfortunate. May he rest in peace, but you never know why that happened.
What is the modern day Knights program teaching men about masculinity?
To be a civilized, savage servant. So civilized, they're going to open doors. They're going to say please and thank you. They're going to be a savage when it's needed, when it's time to be a protector.
If you're not a savage in that sense, does that mean you're not a real man?
I think a man should have it in to be a savage.
Masculinity.
I mean, that question was kind of loaded. Like, it's not about being a real quote unquote man. It's about some of these guys are missing that drive, that determination, that spark that makes them feel alive, makes them feel like a man. So again, you got to go through some adversity and get over it to push yourself forward. Some of these guys have never faced anything like that. They never got punched in the face. They never got kicked in the stomach. They never fell off a bike or monkey bars. They never had anything. They probably grew up playing video games and nothing else. And then life hits them and they have no idea how to deal with it. They got a lot of money. Sometimes if you get 18 bands to just pay for this, you probably got some money, but you're lacking something inside you. Again, some say go to therapy, figure it out that way. But a therapist in an industry that was created for women cannot really tell a man how to push forward with his masculinity at its maximum potential. So boot camps like this, in my humble opinion, are there for that purpose. And again, if you guys have done this, I'm not judging you for doing it, but let me know in the comments what the results of the boot camp were.
It never even crossed my mind.
Entrepreneur Michael Chernow took part in 2022 as a physical challenge.
I believe that I have this sort of inherent warrior mindset, and I run towards the hard things in life. When I'm in the hard thing, I tend to feel like I am at my most sort of vulnerable place where I can start to really dig.
Chernow has been married for almost 2 decades, has 2 kids, and is a highly successful businessman.
It's not that you felt broken, but you did want to address this trauma from earlier in your life.
I had a very, very violent and abusive relationship with my father, and that motivated me to look elsewhere for a father figure.
He says that in turn led to a sexually abusive relationship with a mentor.
How did going through this program help you to address some of those years-long traumas?
It brought to light some of the trust issues that I have in my life.
He says he endured activities like this, digging graves in which participants lie in closed body bags for growth as much as grit.
A physical breakdown is required as part of the process. Your thoughts on that?
That's been my experience too. And I can't say that for everyone.
Licensed therapist Dr. George James weighed the benefits of programs like MDK and said they're not a replacement for actual treatment.
I've had clients that have done.
Let's pause for a minute. I could tell off the rip, this guy cannot tell me anything about how to push forward as a man. I'm seeing high body fat percentage, you're kind of soft, might be LGBT. You're not going to tell me anything. This is what I'm talking about. Therapy is an industry that was created for women. Now, again, if you were able to gain something from therapy, if it was able to help you out of a dark place, I'm not trying to attack you. I say whatever helps, whatever works for you, that's fine. But a lot of men are saying the same thing that I'm saying, that traditional therapy methods are not helping them to be able to get beyond their trauma. It's not helping them to push forward as men. And I know for sure, if I was to go to therapy and this guy was sitting across from me, I feel like I'd be able to tell him more about how to push forward than he could tell me.
Really difficult, challenging things, from ultra marathons to tough mudder races. I think it's being able to, as a therapist, being able to have the conversation around how does this directly help you to be a better father, partner, man.
For Michael, the actions in this case prove stronger than any words.
Some people have to walk through the fire to know that a burn is not going to kill you.
Sam Brock, NBC.
That was very well said. You have to sometimes walk through a fire to know the burn won't kill you. Exactly. You have to face adversity. You got to face challenges and then be able to get over it. If you have an abusive past and you were just faced with this challenge you could never get over, it was a consistent thing that kept you from being able to move forward, and you've not been able to get beyond it. So this thing right here, I'm not mad at it. Shout out to these guys for trying to help. You know, one thing they always say, one thing that a lot of men say, there's nobody out here to help men. Nobody cares about men and our health. And then when guys do it, sometimes people want to clown them, because typically, as I close, the reason why guys like this get clowned is because men never seek help. There's never anything done for men. So we just suffer in silence. A lot of guys, why not taking their own life? A lot of guys just, you know, kind of retreat to the woods, become a hermit, become homeless, whatever it is. That's what men often do. But if you're able to do something about the state of mind that you're in that is negative and self-destructive, if you could do something about it, it shouldn't really matter what the outside world thinks. If it works for you, then hey, I'm all for it. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.